budget EDC gear. I get requests for this type of video more than any other type of video. And 4 years ago, I did one. It's the most popular, or one of the most popular videos on the channel. And I've been kicking it around for like 2 years now to make another one, but it's tough. Things have changed a lot. So I'm doing my best. Here are 25 of the best EDC items under $20 in 2024. This was a doozy to make, but here we are. With that said, let's do the damn thing. One of the reasons this was so hard to make is because all of these classic budget EDC items are no longer on this list. They just aren't under $20 anymore. You've got Zippos that are no longer under $20. Fisher Space Pin Bullet, a classic, used to be like $18. Now they're 30 bucks starting. You have the Gerber Dime. That was on my list last time. It's now 30. You got armbar drives that are now up there. Like, everything is over $20. So I had to start from scratch, build this list from the ground up without any kind of like preconceived notions of what was gonna be on it. I just sat down and tried to figure it out. So first up is a derivative of something I've talked about on this channel quite a bit, and that is the Munkees fingernail clippers. I bought these at Bass Pro ages ago. I think they were like $7 or something like that. Really good compact nail clippers that I use fairly often. But if I'm gonna be honest, I only really like them because they're small, but they are kind of hard to use. So in doing my research for this, I found this. This is the Ace Compact Munkees 6-in-1 tool, and it has this exact nail clipper just built into this kind of Swiss Army knife style tool. And that makes it easier to use because you've got more to grab onto. This is just, it's too hard to hold, especially when you switch to left-handed. Maybe I was just too tired when I made this list, but I also came across this and bought these, and I wanted to include them on the list, and then I found out after the fact, they're $23. This is Mr. Green's. They're very similar. It's just bigger and a little more easy to use than the original Munkees, but they are $3 over budget for this video. I like these, and these are now what I use, and it does have a file included right here under. But this item is just the original Munkees with some like typical Swiss Army knife style tools. I wouldn't say these tools are the best. I don't think they're up to Victorinox quality, but they'll get the job done. It reminded me of this, which is a Swiss Army knife and has a pair of clippers in it. These are awesome. They're just a little too bulky. This is smaller, slimmer, and a very similar concept. So I have a new pack of these because it's always good to have more, but I've talked about these on the channel as well, and I think these were actually in that old video. These are Uncle Bill's Sliver grippers. So many times I've talked about these on a video and called them sliver grippers, or silver grippers, but they are sliver grippers. So you got a little holder here, you pinch them together, put them in here, and then they hold themselves in place. You can put them on a keychain, but they're just good little strong tweezers. They're not the best tweezers in the world, but they are good for the money. This is a 3-pack for 17 bucks. And it's just hard to find a good pair of tweezers that you can stow away in a pouch or on your keys that work well. And these are exactly that. So Uncle Bill's Sliver grippers, they're classics and they're affordable. It's good to have them just everywhere, basically. This is gonna be the only item on the list that I think is kind of out there a little bit for some of you, but being a video creator, a photographer of sorts, and also having these little pocket retro games, this has come in handy so much. This is a USB-C micro SD and SD card reader. The read speeds on it are very fast, or your transfer speeds on it are very fast, and it's super compact. I love this thing. I can put it in my phone because I have an Android phone, so I can just plug this into my phone and read SD cards, so I can take photos with my photos camera, which is right here, and then just put them straight into my phone and transfer the raw files and edit in Lightroom. It's awesome. You can read Rite micro and full-size SD. They work in my MacBook. They work in my iPad. This is exactly how I store one of them. I did a little guessing game with you guys one time on Instagram, asking what's in the ZF pouch, and it was this, my Anbernic, and I keep one of these in there so I can transfer games and update files without having to carry a whole bunch of other stuff. I can literally just pop this in my MacBook and transfer stuff. Really cool, very compact, and they're not annoying like most card readers. And the best part, these things are 12 bucks. They are not expensive at all, and that's why I have a bunch of them now. So I don't carry it in my pocket, but I do have one in my backpack every day because that Anbernic goes everywhere with me. This is another item, yeah, these are new, but this is another item that was on that last list, and that's because These are my favorite split rings ever. This is the Exotac FREEkey Slim System, which technically that is in reference to this little split ring, which you just pinch right here in this little gap and it makes this stand up, and these slide off very, very easily. I never really used this thing, which is kind of the whole point of the FREEkey system. I use these little split rings because they are awesome. Instead of a normal split ring that destroys your fingers, these are flat and they're easier to bend apart and get stuff in there and on there. They work better. They're smaller than your standard split ring. So I've always in the past just bought a pack of these and used these 3 split rings, but I found out later that they have a 5-pack of spares for these little split rings. And, hey Ricky, you want this?
No. Stop giving me shit you don't want.
What? I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. Trying to give you things. Since we're on the topic of things that are affordable, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, ExpressVPN. This day and age, the importance of online privacy and security is something that cannot be overstated, but it's something that's also often not taken seriously enough. ExpressVPN helps users around the world protect their privacy and increase security with just a few clicks, regardless of where they are in the world or what devices they're using. ExpressVPN can help keep your data secure when you connect to an unsecured and unencrypted public Wi-Fi network like at your favorite coffee shop. These networks make it really easy for anyone else that's also connected to the same network to snoop or steal your data. But enabling ExpressVPN before connecting to that same public Wi-Fi will send all of your internet activity through an encrypted tunnel to protect your identity and data from would-be hackers and even your ISP or mobile network carrier. And if you thought incognito mode was enough to keep your online activity secret or safe, think again. And while ExpressVPN encrypts your connection and can block trackers, you can still be tracked if, say, you're logged into your Facebook account. But ExpressVPN masks your IP address. Every device has a unique IP address that people can use to identify you, so this makes it more difficult for advertisers and other companies to track your online activity. You can also enable other advanced protection features in the app settings, such as blocking malicious sites and even ads. I always use a VPN when I connect to a public Wi-Fi network, especially if I'm going to be doing anything that deals with sensitive data like banking or shopping. And just the other day, I was sick and laying on the couch and I wanted to watch a movie that was not available on any of the streaming services I already pay for. But if you know which country that movie is available in on a given streaming service, you can switch to an ExpressVPN server in that country and watch away. You can also use this tip to view any content that is censored or otherwise unavailable in your home country or even state. And if you're worried about how much a VPN can slow down your internet connection, don't worry, you can still get blazing fast speeds even while connected to a VPN. They're not called ExpressVPN for no reason. ExpressVPN is ridiculously easy to use. It can help keep your data and privacy secure online, and it's affordable. So there's really no reason you shouldn't be using ExpressVPN. But to sweeten the pot, go to expressvpn.com/bestdamnedc to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. There's literally nothing to lose. So go check it out, try it out yourself, and help support the channel. And once again, I want to thank ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. A long time ago, I did a video on this thing right here, and I said it was the best key organizer ever. Now there's about 1 million titanium shackles that you can get. There were shackles before I made that video, obviously, but titanium ones are cool. I have this one on here. This one is from Key Unity that I have on my keys. I also have one from Peachy and one from Bang TI. They all do the same thing. Your biggest thing that you've got to worry about is how wide the shackle is so it can fit all your keys if you got a whole bunch of them. I also found this one at Hobby Lobby for like $5. These are all like $10, I believe. They're all under 20, I do know that, but they vary in price, but they all do the same exact thing. I like it on here because it keeps these keys in this little lower pocket on this titanium carabiner, which is actually our next item. So like I said, I have my keys on this little titanium carabiner. I love these. I've been using these little carabiners for a long time because they do exactly that. They keep things kind of where you want them. These two right here, they're a little smaller than the ones I've been using. I couldn't find this exact brand. I bought it probably 4 or 5 years ago. But these were a 2-pack for $14. They do the exact same thing. Although I'd say they don't hold your little split rings at the bottom quite as well. But I mean, I just like the ease of use and how small the carabiners are. They work better than say like just a cheap little spring gate carabiner, because those, like, I always felt like they'd get stuck on things a little worse. These have worked really well for me over the years. And mainly what I use them for, obviously I have my keys on here for my truck and my camper. But typically what I do is I use like a flashlight when I'm backpacking or camping or something. I put these on a little carabiner like this. I can put it on a ridge line. I can hang it up somewhere inside my tent. I don't like big carabiners for that, and these are great. They're not that expensive. They're lightweight. I like these a lot. And speaking of tiny flashlights and camping, this flashlight that I just showed you is typically what I have when I'm camping, or has been over the last several years. I've always carried one backpacking as like a little ridgeline light, like I just talked about, because it's so compact and they're USB rechargeable. It's just super convenient. And this is typically the setup I just showed you. One of these little carabiners with a spark, which we'll get to in a little bit. And you can hang that, you can clip it to your backpack, your shoulder strap, you can clip it to a ridgeline, and you're not gonna lose this. I just like how convenient these are because they are USB rechargeable. They have 2 brightnesses, twist a little further to make it a little bit brighter. And full disclosure, some of these are over $20. There are versions of the i1R that are under $20, but the reason I feel okay including any of these on this list is because honestly, they go on sale all the time. I keep one of these like in the center console of my truck. I have one for my camping setup. I have one by my bed. I just have them everywhere because they're affordable. I have a bunch of them and they're easy to just plug in, keep one charged around the desk or wherever. I always have one around. We have another flashlight that has entered the chat. This is the iMini 2. So the original iMini I've talked about previously, it's a flashlight that works just like this. It's magnetic, you pull it off and it turns on. The problem with those is that they had these weird batteries that I didn't like. You'd have to buy the battery if the battery died. There was no recharging that flashlight, but now they got really clever in the way it charges. Has this thing got some juice to it? Yeah. So they just push this in. I don't know where the light is. There it is. And this is charging. How cool is that? Brilliant. And then they include this little rubber cap so you don't mess up the USB connections, and you can clip it to your keys. And when you need it, you just pull it and then it's off. It's on, it's off, on, off. That's really cool. These are 20 bucks. So honestly, I think this is a better buy at $20 than these other flashlights, but it only has 1 brightness and that might not be what you need. I do like having the lower brightness, but you know, it's always some give and take, but these are really neat, especially the fact that you don't have to have a cord or anything. If there's a USB port, you just plug this straight in. That's awesome. All right, so I was looking for a small, cool bolt action pen to include in this list, and I found one. It was cheap, it looked cool. I figured, you know what could be wrong with a little bolt action pen? This is what's wrong with it. Look at this. You can't even hold it. It's like a freaking toothpick. It is bolt action. I, in fact, think I have a toothpick that has the same like outside case to it. Like a bolt action toothpick. So yeah, needless to say, this is not making the list, but this can. This is the Olight O Pen Mini, I guess. I don't like the idea of having a pen named the O Pen, because if you try to Google search for it, you know what you get? Just Google results for open. Like, open what? Anyway, it's a good little bolt action pen. It's tiny, but it's good. It's big enough to actually still be usable. They come in, you know, different colors. There's a green one, blue one, whatever. This one's a limited edition brass. They're typically 13 bucks. I think the brass one's 20. For this and the money, I don't know that you're gonna find a better bolt action pen for $13. Maybe, but I doubt it. And since we're on the topic of pens, we should talk about this. This is basically a Fisher Space Pen Click-O-Matic or Cap-O-Matic, and it's a click pen. This is the Rite in the Rain edition. I think both of these are. They're all the exact same. This just says Space Pen on it, and this one says nothing. So this is probably actually a Space Pen Cap-O-Matic, and this is a Rite in the Rain. They're the exact same thing. You have your standard Fisher Space Pen refill inside. So it's pressurized. That means you can write upside down, in space, underwater. It doesn't matter where you are, you can write with it. And this is just a good solid pen for about 17 bucks. You can find them all over the place. I think I found this one at Academy. I think I bought this one. Actually, maybe I bought this for an Amazon video. I don't know, but you can find them all over. They're just reliable. It's like a Fisher Space Pen Bullet that's just a click pen, effectively. That's what it feels like in the hand. But $17. You can find cheaper pens, but I think for under $20, this is gonna be one of the best ones you can buy. So next up, I did, full disclosure, I thought this was gonna be more like traditional wallet sized, because that's what it's called. It does not come with this notebook, but this is the Rite in the Rain Monsoon Field Notebook. It doesn't come with this either. I just had them in there. But it's a wallet that also holds a Rite in the Rain notebook on the outside. It's all waterproof and everything. It's like a, I'm not sure what kind of, like TPU, I think is what they called it. But you can put cash and other larger items here. You can store cards here. This will also hold one of those like spiral top notebooks, I think, one of the smaller ones from Rite in the Rain, and then a pen loop, and then you can hold it all together with this really heavy duty elastic strap on the outside. So yeah, I did think this was more wallet size when I bought it, but I don't think this makes me, like it's slightly larger size would deter me from carrying this. And if you're after something that is like a good pocket notebook kind of thing for under $20, options are very limited, let me tell you. But this one's nice because it has that pen loop on the inside. You can store your notebook on the outside and still use it as a wallet. They're only $17, and if you want like a all-in-one thing, pens, cards, cash, and notebook, I don't know that you can do better under $20 than this one right here. Pouches. These are the ZF Cup or compact utility pouch. They are exactly 20 bucks. They are in stock as of the time of this recording, which is not always the case. But these are awesome for a number of reasons. You can store gear in here. You can use this as a soft wallet. You have hook and loop on the outside. Obviously, I've used this one as a first aid. We've talked about that in another video. But you have 2 large pockets on this side. You have 2 smaller pockets and then a large pocket up here. So you can put, this is big enough for cards. So this works as a wallet. In fact, Rick, who made these, uses this as his wallet every day, but you can put like a small pen. So the O pen would fit. Some of the other things that we've talked about and will talk about would fit in here pretty easily. It's not huge. It's not gonna hold a ton of gear, but you can have kind of that same thing as that Monsoon wallet without the notebook. You can still hold a pen and a little bit of gear and still have a wallet. I think it's cool. You can also put some cards on the outside if you want, but it also works really well as a first aid. I've used them for all kinds of little things. Sky's the limit. They come in a million different colors. He's got OD green. He's got OD green that has this, or a green that has this kind of pattern to it, like a teal, purple, yellow, orange, all sorts of colors. So sky's the limit. They're in stock, 20 bucks. One of the best pouches you can get in this size and that price range. Pry bars. What are they? What do you guys do with them? I don't know, you pry things, scrape things. That's what they're for. It's like a big flathead that you carry with you. That's all it really is, but they get expensive. This is a titanium pry bar. There are titanium pry bars that range in like, I don't know, $200. They get kind of crazy, but this one is not $200. This one, the Mighty Bar, is 15 bucks. There's a larger and a smaller size of it, but this one is good for the keys. It's a good little itty bitty size, big enough to still pry things with or scrape with, but not too big that it's like cumbersome. But that's all it is. It's just a freaking wedge. That's it. You're just gonna pry things up or scrape. That's it. 15 bucks. Titanium pry bar. Another pry bar, since we're on the topic, if you want to get a little more bang for your buck, you can get this. Moving on. Now, these are the Widgy Pry Bars from CountyComm. I have a bunch of them because they have a grab bag. It's $25 for the grab bag, but individually you're gonna pay like $16, $17, depending on the size of the pry bar you get. They are made out of D9 hardened steel, and you know, the grab bag's a good deal. If you want some pry bars, you can just throw in a key or whatever. You can get 3 or 4 or 5 for the price of less than 2 of them. If you need a pry, this is more of a pry than the other because it's got like a nail pry head to it and it's bent. So you can really get up under something and actually pry with it. Probably less good at scraping because it has that gap in the middle, but you know, an actual pry bar. Next item on the list is actually what spurred this whole thing. I told you I've been kicking this idea down the road for a long time, and I was at Lowe's a couple of weeks ago and I saw these, and it just, my brain kind of, I was like, I have to buy those. If you remember back when Zach and I were in Utah, Salt Lake City for Blade Show West, we were pushing a cart around, people were doing these tests, and at the end of the day, this one guy just stormed through to the board. He didn't get everything, but he whipped these scissors out for cutting the wire, the rope, and everything. These things cut that truck rope like it was a noodle. These things are awesome. These are the Klein Tools Electrician scissors. They're not long, but they are stout, very, very stout, and they're serrated as well, so they cut really well. You also have a set of wire strippers on the top here. That's what these little cutouts are. And then you have a file here and here. And yeah, you saw, I just pulled these out of my back pocket. I don't carry them every day, but I do keep them in a little pouch like this right here. And once you use these scissors, you're not gonna wanna use your Leatherman scissors or your Victorinox scissors. These scissors are next level. Zip tie, no problem. These things absolutely shred zip ties.
Cut your finger, cut your finger.
Yeah. Now I have to vacuum all that up. What do we got around here we can cut? I wanna cut something. It is hard to grip and get good torque on it or downward pressure, but I mean, it cuts through without much problem. You just have to two-hand it. If I had one complaint about these, it's that these finger holes are a little small. I actually end up using them, how was it? Like this a lot, because it's a little less awkward sometimes, but just because my thumb doesn't really fit in there that well. But they do have a pair that has a longer handle on one side. Either way, $20. I think I found these, I think they were like 16 at Lowe's, but they're 20 on Amazon. They're awesome. In fact, I ended up buying a second pair so I can leave a pair in my truck just in case. So I don't remember who you were that showed us these at Blade Show, but thank you. You're a boss, and these things are sweet. All right, so the other thing that I have in this tool pouch is something new, and I actually have never used this, but there's a reason I'm including it on the list. You guys see people carrying these all the time, and they're larger cousins. These are the pliers wrenches from Knipex. And yeah, it's freaking Knipex. Look it up. They have a video about it. Stop telling me I'm saying it wrong. It's Knipex.
K-nip-X. Knipex.
Like knife.
Knife. What's wrong with you guys? Yeah, so these are awesome. However, these are kind of prohibitively expensive. $50 for this little itty bitty set of pliers is a lot. Like, no doubt. They're awesome. They work really, really well, but they're a lot. There's not much that you can do with these that you can't do with this. And this is $10. This is a 4-inch crescent wrench that you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot. This doesn't open quite as wide, right? So your jaws don't open quite as wide, but it's close. The only thing that you can do with this and can't do with this is that these still work as pliers, so you can just grab things and hold them, which you're not really gonna do with this. This is gonna turn bolts and nuts. This is gonna do that and can work as pliers. All that's to say, you're getting most of the functionality of these really cool Knipex out of this $10 wrench. Just saying. You have 3 utility knives we're gonna talk about. First up is the WORKPRO. I included a WORKPRO utility knife, a 2-pack that was like $15 or something in the last video like this. However, a lot has changed. WORKPRO has really upped the ante. Now there is a button lock version, and guess what? This thing's cool. It sounds really neat. It's probably not gonna come through in the video, but it's got some cool acoustics. You can probably hear that. You have a clip this time. I don't think there was a clip before. Makes it a little more carryable. And then your blade change is pretty easy. Just push this up, pull the blade out, flip it around, put it back in. Very simple, button lock, and there's no way to open this. This is locked closed too, which is probably good for some of you. This is 10 bucks. This is actually cheaper than the Gerber EAB, which the Gerber EAB has been like the king of the budget utility knives in terms of like, well, sort of. This one kind of takes that crown now, but like it was for the longest time. This takes the cake there. 10 bucks, so it's a little cheaper and it works better and it feels safer. The EAB feels a little bit sometimes. So I would carry you this and use this, no problem. We also have one from Coast. Yes, the company that makes those budget flashlights. Now there's no fun or cool way to open this one, but the reason this one's really neat is it has a liner lock and a double lock. So the liner is locked and now it's kind of locked open, so it's not gonna close on you. That's also pretty neat. And this one is 12 bucks. So also in that same realm of Gerber EAB, honestly, now I'm gonna buy one of these two over the EAB every single time. Gerber had that reign for a long time, but people have caught up and I would hold this in higher regard than the EAB. This is like a nylon handle and the blade change on this one, you just push the button. It's pretty standard. I think that's all there is to say. The only thing I wish they'd do is stop putting all these clips the same direction. We all carry our knives tip up now, and I don't know what it is. Every single one of these, every single one is tipped down. Why? Why is it? Even all of the like Milwaukee Fastback knives that you can find at Home Depot are the same thing. Why is that? Why? I should mention the third one we have here, which is the Fastback 6-in-1. This is the one that our good friend Zach, we miss you, buddy. This is the one that he has kind of popularized, or at least, you know, shouted his love for this one from the mountaintops, and it is now, or has been for a while, has been pretty hard to come by. They are now in stock at Home Depot. They were not for a long time, and they're not on Amazon anymore. I think you have to buy it as a 2-pack, and it's been like out of stock for a while. But basically what you have here is a utility knife. It's got a little strap cutter right here. You have a bottle opener when this is closed, so that's your bottle opener. You have a bit driver in the handle. That is a 2-sided bit with a liner lock, and it's 6-in-1, so I'm missing something. I did find the 6th function, so it's kind of dumb because Milwaukee considers this a screwdriver and a bit holder. It's kind of the same thing. Come on, Milwaukee. But right here, you can put another blade in the handle. Store it. The only problem for me is that I'm not going to EDC this thing. It's kind of big. I'm fine like working around the house or something and carrying this in my pocket. This is not really going to be my EDC jam. They're 15 bucks, and for $15, this is a better deal than this one, but I'm going to EDC this one, right? Like this is the one that's going in the pocket. All right, we have more carabiners. Cool. First up is the Heroclip. I've talked about this a good bit before in one of my unusual EDC videos, and I've now started including them in gift guides because I think they're just really cool and handy. It's a carabiner, right? Just a standard split gate or spring gate carabiner, but it has this little hook to it. So you can clip this to your backpack and then hang this over like the door of a bathroom stall or a tree branch or whatever. You can hook this to basically anything and keep your stuff off the ground. Super simple, really easy, and I like them a lot. They do range in price. The cheapest ones I think are about $16. The most expensive ones are gonna be kind of close to 30. And they're just bigger and smaller sizes of the same thing. It's not gonna hold a ton of weight, but it's enough to where you can hang even a heavy backpack. I mean, my backpack has weighed up to 60 pounds at times, and this holds it with no problem. You do get limited in where you can hang this thing just because of just the size of this. Like it doesn't always fit over, say, a stall door or whatever, but you can get really creative with where you use these things. And I just tend to keep them on bags and pouches so I can keep them up off the ground if need be. The next carabiner is something a little more like outdoorsy. I wouldn't say this is necessarily my most used EDC item, or not even really something I use every single day or carry every day, but I do strap them to different bags. I have one that stays inside the door of my truck in the alu cab, and I use it to light my stove. So obviously it's a normal carabiner, but it has a flint inside there, or a ferro rod and a striker, and you can just spark and start your stove. Very, very nice. You can clip a couple of things here, so you can put your split rings there and keep your keys off this thing. You've got a strap cutter, a little flathead, and then a spring gate. And I feel like, yeah, right there, a bottle opener as well. So a lot of stuff packed into this, but the main thing for me is the ability to just spark a fire in case if I need to. Really cool because they're very cost effective and very, very useful. Sticking with the keys trend, I mean, most of this stuff is keys because, I mean, that's the cheaper part of EDC, I guess. Just a little sidebar. I looked for a knife to include on this list other than utility knives. Nothing I would recommend. Last time I included a kind of a classic, no longer under $20. Would you imagine that? So I tried my best to put a good knife under $20 on this list, and I just couldn't find one that I would be okay putting on the list. So we get a bunch of key stuff, carabiners and clips and whatever else, and you know, crescent wrenches. But these right here, one of my favorite things that I've discovered since I started this channel. This is the Glow Rhino Spark Fob. I put them on my keys, I put them on my flashlights, as you've seen here. They go on my flashlight so you can find it in the dark without, you know, having to turn on another flashlight. I have them on my truck fob. In fact, this is the other one. So this is the Glow Rhino Spark, and this is the Glow Rhino Ember. So they're both kind of going hand in hand on this. These are, I think, $11.99 a piece, so they're not super cheap, but you can get a 3-pack for $30, or you can get a single Ember for $20. I like the Ember a lot more because it's so much more visible. That's a lot more tritium, like basically double, maybe triple the size of the tritium. But these glow plenty. It just doesn't seem like it, but trust me, these things are pretty damn bright. They are brighter than you think. They work exceptionally well, and they are really useful for more than just your keys. You can put them on things that you want to find in the dark, and it makes it way easier. If you drop your flashlight in the dark and the flashlight's off, how do you find it? You'd have to like dig your phone out and maybe use that flashlight to find it, or you put a little glow fob on it and you can find it. It's that simple. So Glow Rhino makes the Spark and the Ember. They're both awesome for the money. So in that same vein, we have beads. These are glow beads that you would put on like a zipper pull. So these don't go on your keys quite as easily. But first up, we're putting these as like one item glow beads. These are glow nuts, and they come from Who is Citizen E, and that's all it is. Some of them look like a donut. They've got white on the top and sprinkles, but they all do the same thing. It is a glow-in-the-dark material. You put it on like a zipper pull. In fact, I had one of these on my old bum bag, and then I gave that bum bag to Brandon Curran. So we're gonna go ahead and put one on here because I've forgotten to on my bum bag XL. So you just string it through, go back through your zipper, and then feed this all the way through there, around the bead. Now you have a glow-in-the-dark zipper pull. So you can find that zipper in the dark very, very easily. You can also find these. These are called Lumi Mods. They don't glow as bright, but they do glow. These don't look like they glow at all, but they do. They're actually pretty bright blue in the dark. And then this one is green. So this might seem like a silly little thing, but once you have something like a glow bead like this on a zipper pull, it's something that you come to appreciate quite a bit, actually. Not only does it help you find the zipper in the dark, it helps you find the whole bag in the dark. So anyway, we got glow nuts and Lumimod glow washers. Both of them are really nice. Now we're gonna talk about the last two things on the list. I'm including both of these because I feel like they have different purposes, even though they are very similar. First, we're gonna talk about the Ulti Clip because this is an OG. It's been around for a long time and they work really well. If you want to carry a knife in your pocket or attach your holster to your waistband or clip something to a backpack strap and not have it move around, Ulti Clip is the way. These things double down. Like when you clip this to something and snap that, this thing is not going anywhere. You just clip this here and double it down. This thing is not going anywhere. I mean, you can slide it a little bit, but it's not coming off the strap. Like that thing is secure. So if you put this in your pocket and clip it down, this knife is not coming out. It may look like it would want to just turn in your pocket, but I can show you real quick. If I pull this out, put this in, clamp it down. It holds so well. This sheath doesn't really want to go anywhere. It might turn a little bit on you, but it's retained so well that this is not going anywhere. These are 16 bucks. They come in a bunch of different sizes and you can attach them to so many different things. Ulti Clips are awesome. However, for a knife, this has become my favorite clip. I've talked about it a lot lately. This is the Discreet Carry Solutions clip. And the way that it works is you have just a standard clip, and then on the inside, you've got kind of a barb. And the way that works, you can push this down in your pocket and it retains instantly. There's no secondary clip or anything. And then to get it off, you just have to simply lift and it comes off. So the reason I like this more than this, even though they're so similar, is because this doesn't tend to shred your pocket nearly as bad as this. I don't know why. You would think this would maybe be even worse. And I think it's actually put a hole in the back of one of my pants because that barb, like when you sit on it, can kind of dig into the fabric. But if you're front pocket carrying a fixed blade, I go with this every time. These are 16-ish and these are about 12 bucks. So there you go. That's it. That's the list. Best gear under $20. It was kind of tough. I mean, things have changed so much. However, I'm sure I missed something. So if you have a really cool piece of gear under $20 that I should know about, Let me know about it in the comments down below. You want to support the channel? You can buy a cool hat. We got these hats and the blackout hat that Ricky's wearing. We'll show a picture or something. There you go. Good job, dude. If you want to support us, hats and merch is always helpful. That's linked down below as well. Everything we talked about in this video is linked down below. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, carry on.